Roth.
I mentioned that for Joe Berardi, 32nd television appearance in the finals. Trying to win back-to-back after last week. Well, he put it on his roommate early. Now, when you consider all the telecasts, this man, this is his 119th television appearance. What a record.
I believe the greatest natural ability ever to step on the approach. Mark Roth.
Left with the 7-pin on the right lane, the winner of 33 PBA titles.
The familiar profile of Mark Roth. 2, 3, look at those steps. 4, 5, 6, 7-step delivery today. The powerful wrist action, very little turn, good accuracy arm swing, and just that great natural ability. Nice loose swing, powerful legs.
The man that won here 10 years ago has just blown first frame, missing the 7.
Unusual for Mark Roth as he looks and queries what happened on that lane. You see the ball sliding right down the middle instead of taking that familiar break that he's used to and covering the 7-pin. And needless to say, I would say one of the greatest spear makers in the game. You don't get to be the top, leaving many open frames, but Roth has done it right here. Let's see if that unsettles him, the experienced player, or he steps back and really cranks up that strike ball.
Well, in this case, on the left lane, he has left the 2-4 and a look of concern on his face. Let's watch the pinfall again on that last shot.
Roth, as he's quickly up on the approach, getting ready to shoot the 2 and 4 pins, just slides by the head pin, the left-hand lane. He'll just throw a rocket straight to the 2-pin, drive them both back.
Okay. So it opened first frame, a spare in the second. Berardi with the strike in the first, leading by 11 can increase it.
Now here's a man who's in pretty good physical shape himself, Joe Berardi.
Not too much luck on that shot, leaving the 7-pin. And the athlete of the week, the name, the winner will be announced on Wide World as follows. The 1-2 punch of ABC, Pro Bowlers Tour and Wide World.
Roth, let's see if he went to school on Berardi's, Berardi on Roth's 7-pin. He drove it right across the lane. We're seeing something we've seen the last few weeks in the championship round of the Professional Bowlers Tour. The players starting to come up light in the pocket as we go farther on through the telecast. And what is simply happening is the oil, which is laid down on the lane surface by the PBA lane maintenance crew, is being carried a little bit farther down the lane by the action of the bowling balls rolling down, and makes it harder to get that sharp break on the pocket. What a player needs to go is hard and straight right towards the 1-3. Just like that.
Joe Berardi using a couple of bowling balls here in his quest for a back-to-back title. But now Mark Roth, spare up, shooting in the third.
Once again, coming in light. We saw Roth come in light, leave a 7-pin in the first frame as the ball slides by, leaving the 2, 4, and 5 pins. He had a 2-4 combination in the second, 2, 4, 5 here in the third. He needs to make one of two type of adjustments. One, either slow the ball speed down or move slightly to the right on the approach.
Winner of the Young Memorial Award for High Average, 5 years, including a record over 222. The average leaders here in 88.
Roth off to a tremendous start. He does hold the all-time record at over 220, around 221 for 36 tournaments in a season. Walter Ray and some of the other top 5 players, but Roth's not worried about average right now. He needs some money. He needs to get some strikes right now.
We're in our third match, the semifinal. More of it after this. Roanoke, Texas, living golf legend Byron Nelson. And we're delighted, Nelson, ABC and his wife Peggy, we're delighted that we're going to again be televising the Byron Nelson Classic the second week in May.
That will be an excellent tournament as usual. And, you know, Chris, the bowling has been in the doldrums for the last, let's say, 15 minutes as we saw Berardi and Voss struggle through that second game. Now, as we get ready to start the halfway point of the semifinal match, we're watching Berardi wait for a re-rack. I believe the action's ready to pick up. You always see in match play a little bit of slow time, but now the time is now to throw strikes. Spares will not win any more matches. Berardi leads by 14, has a strike up in the third, can extend his lead to 24 over Roth with an additional strike. Here we go.
And there is a high hit. And the result, 3-6-7-10.
Too fancy. What he has to do is get the ball over here in the 3-6 zone, slide that 3-pin over into the 7, and convert that spare in order to maintain his lead.
Well, he did your tip from the other side, Bo. Our peekaboo look at.
Great shot by Berardi. The 3-pin goes right into the 7-pin, drives it down, maintains the lead over Roth, keeps the pressure on. Now he's up on the lane he's had so much success with. Lane 39 here at Forum.
Leaves the bucket on the left lane, 2-4-5-8.
Berardi nice and relaxed, and sometimes that can be actually debilitating or self-defeating out there on the lanes. He won the tournament last week. He was all amped up. Now he's trying to have a little bit too much finesse. You have to charge in these one-game matches. You never can let an opponent lie down.
And Joe was the third seed last week when he won the tournament, as was Amleto Monticelli before him. Between these two boys from Brooklyn, they have never been worse than 11th in 4 tournaments. Oh, he wanted that double. Really, we had a chance to ask Mark what he had to guard against in order to advance a little better than last week.
I'd have to say keep my speed consistent and try not turning the ball early. When I turn the ball early, the ball hooks early, or if I make an adjustment, I get wide, leave a washout. I just have to be consistent and stay loose and go out and make good shots today.
Okay, he's on the left lane now. Double up, 6th frame. Lead changes now. It's Roth by 10 pins.
Little roommate courtesy there by Roth, too. I've bowled Mark Roth many a times and watched him in the championship round. When he gets ahead of a player like that and throws that additional strike, he usually lets the other player know about it. He just sat down that time. A little courtesy to Berardi here in the early going.
Oh, of course, with 9 went. Leaving only the 4 for Berardi in the 6th frame.
Joe Berardi once told Mark Roth, I'll say 5 or 6 years ago, a conversation I overheard. He says, Mark, when you slow down, I'm taking over. And this match may have a little more connotation to it than we believe.
Speed on that spare shot was 24 miles an hour.
Young man who turned pro at the age of 18. I had the luxury of eating one of my first real Italian dinners when his mother and father had me over their house in Brooklyn. And Chris, I can wonder how Joe can stay that slim style with the true palatial layout they put at them on the table.
Pasta's good for you. Francesca tells me every week. Oh no. Well, the 7-10, which his roommate once made.
Berardi hits light in the pocket. The 5-pin will go behind the 7-pin. Here's the ball, hits the 1-3 and drives the 5-pin right there. It got cut off in front of the 7. You want to see a legitimate shot at the 7-10. Watch Berardi. 25 miles an hour rocket.
On the button, our jug speed gun, 25 miles an hour, but it's an open frame and a 24-pin lead for Mark Roth. One of our favorite trios anywhere from left to right. founder of the PBA, Eddie Elias, president of ABC Sports, Dennis Swenson, and his wife, Kathy. Glad to have them in Grand Prairie, Texas.
And here's what is happening on the lanes as you watch Berardi's last two balls. First place, the oil is applied to the lane to about here. As we watch Berardi's ball go down the right-hand lane, it'll come in a little bit high. As the oil carries down the lane even farther, this area is beginning slick down here. Berardi's ball goes high. Now he makes the adjustment over here on this lane. Remember again, the oil pattern is down this far. This lane he hopes is going to break a little more. It doesn't as the ball slides by the head pin, and he ends up light. Now, earlier those moves worked. Right now, they're not working for Berardi. Roth has made the adjustments, has 24-pin lead, 7th frame, 3 strikes in a row.
Oh! 10-pin on the right lane. We mentioned earlier that he'd won 33 titles. He's had 28 seconds, 30 thirds, 15 fourths, 13 fifths.
Wow, and his record here, 7 times in the championship round. He has 1 win, 2 seconds, 3 thirds, and his destiny today is still undetermined.
And the man in golf that has those kind of statistics is right here. 11 tournaments in a row, 18 in 1 year, Byron Nelson.
Great man. I'm impressed by his hand strength, Chris, and he's a Texan. I was sired by a Texan who has the same kind of hand strength. Every time I see Byron Nelson, he shakes my hand. It sends my mind back home to my dad, who I'm sure is watching this. But right now, here's another of the greatest bowlers of all time, has a 23-pin lead. Mark Roth, 8th frame.
Okay, Master inducted into the PBA Hall of Fame. And Nelson mentioned his dad. It's the only father-son combination in the ABC Hall of Fame. Nelson Sr. and Jr.
Thank you, Chris, and congratulations to you, as you will be inducted into the American Bowling Congress Hall of Fame later in the year in Florida.
I should add, not as a player.
Berardi in a must situation.
Ooh. Remember, Berardi won the AC Delco Classic last week, but this is the Quaker State Open. And those people from Oil City, Pennsylvania, like Bill Petralia, his wife Carol, and their whole staff, they've really mixed beautifully with Jeannie Halsey and the folks of Grand Prairie to make it fun for the pros and the 2,000 participants in the Pro-Am.
That's for sure. As Berardi switches to another ball on the left-hand lane, he's using 1 ball on the left-hand lane, 1 on the right, and he must strike here to stay close in the match.
Wonderful performances here by Joe Berardi. Now 13 pins separating these two close friends.
Berardi just drills all 10 pins in the pit. They could have been tree trunks and he'd have knocked them down. Good lift, high, solid hit. See how Roth reacts. What has made Roth so great is his ability to keep the pressure on his opponent in match play. He only leads by 13, 9th frame.
You know, you lose this particular match and you go home with a check for $8,000, but if you can go on and win the next game, you win $27,000.
Roth up in the 10th frame, 2 strikes working, could close the door on Berardi and go ahead to meet Bob Benoit, the tournament leader. It's down to the last frame. Let's see what Roth does.
Berardi last week had those Brooklyns. Mark gets one here in the 10th.
Nobody will ever call Mark Roth stupid as he watched Berardi take the championship last week with 5 crossovers. Once again, Roth gets a great break and is the undoing of Berardi as Roth catches the break, which will send him in the championship match against Bob Benoit. Joe didn't like that. I don't blame him.
Looking for another and is left with the 310, and Joe shakes his pal's hand. Mark Roth has one more chance for his 34th title against Bob Benoit. That'll be coming up, of course. Roth will be in the 220s. So we've had Voss winning a match. We've had Berardi, and we have a split conversion by the great Mark Roth. A 2:23, and we'll have Berardi's final score.